Alright guys, welcome back. Let me turn this down here. Bon Jovi, man. Oof. Voice didn't do so well in his older age. But let me actually just pause this. There we go. Alright, so continuing on with the Skymaster Viper Jet XXL. So I went through, and you need to do this on every, especially if it's an ARF. Like, you know, they call these ARFs, but they're not really, in my opinion. They're just a kit that you got to build still. A lot of people now are selling shit that's plug and play. You would be crazy not to go through everything and double check it. Like, I can't count the number of people that have lost $10, $15, $20,000 models because they just trust. Like, the people that build these are not modelers. They're just people that are trained in a factory. So you need to keep that in mind. Doesn't matter if it's a full up kit, you know, that you get like this and you got to put together, or it's plug and play, or you buy something from somebody. You know, don't ever assume, okay? Assumptions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they'll kill you or your model. So, anyways, I went through, and it's taken some time because you've got these brackets in here for like rudder, and then the fuselage has brackets that when you slide the tail section on, the carbon tubes go into these aluminum brackets, and then you tighten these clamps down, which is nice. So if you want to remove the tail section, you can for transportation. And I am going to make a junction here for the 3 servos and the light that's in the tail. That way, if I ever need to take it off, I can. But it's not something I do all the time because I have a nice big trailer, and I plan to fly this one at my local club. So I'm planning to get a Yukon next year, so I can kind of go to my local field with these things versus having to get the big trailer out. So if I needed to, it's an option, but it's not intent to do that all the time. A lot of people in Europe and Asia, they have to take them apart to get them transported. So I went through, checked all these things, and they're kind of hard to get to some of them. They end up getting glue on them, so you have to clean glue off the lock nuts. They're like 3mm lock nuts and 3mm bolts. Same for the tail section. You got the two clamps here for the rudder, which are kind of a pain, like trying to get on the back side of this one, because you can come in here with the Allen key or Allen driver, but you got to get something on the back here to do you know, the lock nuts. And I had a great tool that it was essentially just a little bar with a cutout for a 3mm lock nut in it. It was a heli tool, and I have lost it somewhere. I've misplaced it, so I had to come up with a new way of doing it, and it took me some time. Gosh, I can't wait to get like shelves. I'm doing garage cabinetry and benches in here. They're gonna line this wall, kind of do that corner. I'm gonna do a couple there, and then I'll have some storage on the other side. And once I have all that, man, this stuff will be organized. And I hate not being able to find stuff. So everything I got is like right there on the little tray. So I'll get there. It just takes time and money. So I tightened all those. Those are good now. And I was looking at the pipes. So this is what they're saying like is a 300 plus pipe. And when you get if you want to put a 260 in it, you get this pipe. So I have a 300. I talked to some people, or I talked to an individual that has a 300, and his pipe is 4 inches. This is like, I mean, it's just like 1/8 of an inch under 4 inches on the inner pipe. And so I want to use this one. I'm planning to use it. It's a pretty heavy duty pipe. They beefed up their pipes. The outer wall are real thin. That's just a heat shield essentially. And it looks like okay, so looks like they didn't tack the inner wall to the outer wall, which is good. So it's got a free float. You tack it at the top, it's supposed to free float at the back side, because if not, when this inner wall heats up and it'll stretch, it'll stretch this outer wall, but if it's not free floating, when this cools off and shrinks, this all collapses. And that was the problem I had with the T1 pipes. They even made a video about it saying that it's supposed to do that. Like, no, that's just a video about how not to do pipes. So anyways, and this is the bell mouse. I mean, this is a huge bell mouse. This is 7 inches, this is 6. And you kind of see here, like, you know, I mean, I know you got to have airflow around it and everything, but that's like 1.5 inches all the way around at the base down there. So I think I'll be okay with this. Like, if you're going to put like a bigger motor in here, yeah, you definitely want to go. But I mean, that's still going to be plenty of airflow around there. And I'll keep an eye on it and maybe ask around and make sure it's going to be okay. But like I said, I got a buddy that's running I think he's got it's one of the big Rogues, I believe, the Aerosport Rogue with a Schwinn 300 and a 4-inch pipe. And he's been running that for a while, so it should be good. And what you want to go for, so everybody's always asking about pipe gap. You know, and so you got your exhaust cone here. This is going to go on here. This is just a bell mouth. Let me slide this on here. Give me a second. So this is going to go on, and I got to get some. You can rivet this, but it's still to drill, and that's what sucks is they didn't drill holes in this. Oh, I just noticed that. So that's going to be a pain. And there's nothing, yeah, because you got to. This is aluminum, so you can drill this, and you put a screw to hold the front. But there's nothing on either pipe. So I gotta drill steel. Ugh, that's gonna suck. Ugh. Okay. So that's what you're looking at. And this goes in the model, obviously down the tail, and it's just to protect the model from 700 plus degrees Fahrenheit. But, so the gap you're looking for is not the gap between, because you like the exhaust cone and the pipe. You don't want the gap there. The gap should be between where the pipe starts and the actual end of the exhaust. So this will actually kind of go inside the bell mouth a little bit. And general rule is a 1/2 inch minimum to like max 1.5 inches. A lot of times you hear just 1/2 inch to 1 inch. I always shoot for 3/4 of an inch. That way, if I need to go less or more, just because of the overall position of the motor and the pipe, because you don't want the pipe sticking out. Ultimately, you want the pipe to sit just inside, because if it sticks out, it doesn't do you any good. If it's in just a hair, like maybe 1/4 of an inch, it helps kind of create some pressure effects that helps suck stuff out and makes things pressure-wise flow much nicer and helps with cooling. Because what you don't want is to get your pipe too far in there and it starts burning here, and then you have those hot exhausts that kind of work their way back up the tail and burn stuff. So you want it just a little recess. That way it kind of helps create pressures that make things flow. You got highs and lows. Things go from low, you know, oh gosh, what? Low to high or whatever it is. And it will help flow. The same principle, they have this on like the real aircraft, like the Apache that I flew. We had kind of an induction system where it would pull, it would do the same thing. You had like an exhaust, the primary nozzle had a gap, and it kind of did this whole thing like with it went into like a secondary exhaust nozzle, and that created pressures to help pull airflow and help cool things. So that's what you're looking for. So with that pipe, it's obviously this inner ring here is bigger than the pipe, both pipes. So you need something to support the back. The front is supported, will be supported like right here on this. So your motor's going to go here. Your pipe is supported right here. Your bell mouth is, and then it runs backwards, which sucks because if you want to take off the tail, you got to loosen the front of the bell mouth. A lot of jets will make a mount right here, which is really nice because then the pipe is preset, and then so when you take the tail off, the bell mouth and pipe stay together, and then the motor's up here. Skymaster doesn't do that, so it makes it a little harder because you've got to align it here and then you've got to line it at the back end, and then of course you got to make sure that the motor exhaust is right in the center of your tail cone. So it's kind of a little dance, but this one fits the tail end of that pipe perfect, and it will sit right here. And they've got these little grooves cut to help you line it up. So it'll line up on those circles, and then you got these little 4 holes here where you just put a screw, and that is what centers. Hope you guys can see that. Sorry if it's not. It centers the pipe, so you get the pipe centered up perfect, which is nice. I like those little. See, like right, you got to kind of get all 4 circles lined up, and then you know that you're perfect, and then you just drill your holes, put a screw in, and it secures the rear end of this pipe. So when you need to take the pipe out, you essentially take the bell mouth off, and then take this off, and it'll pull out. It's got tabs on the end of the pipe here. They're kind of hard to see, but there's little tabs there. So you push the pipe against the back bulkhead, those tabs will hit here, so the pipe won't go any further back. And when it does, when I put it in there like that, it sits that gap between the end of the actual jet and the cone perfectly. So I kind of like that. But so this is, I just want to show you guys what, this is the bigger, that's massive, man. Cool. So I'm guessing, if this pipe does work for a 300, I guess that could work for there's some big motors out there and they're like 400s or 350s, that would definitely be a pipe for that. But this is really heavy. So that's why I'm really wanting to use the smaller pipe, because it's a lot less weight. And again, the more weight in the tail, the more stuff you got to push forward for CG and just overall weight. So, wow, gosh, that's a long-winded video already. Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna stop this video, and I gotta get that drilled. Wow, that's gonna suck, drilling that steel. But the good thing is I have one of these now. This little guy here, like if anytime you drill metal, you kind of need one of these guys here. I have a couple of them now. You essentially just, sorry guys, there we go. So this little guy here, it's preloaded. You push down on it, it's got a little sharp point. So you take the metal, and you can take your metal piece here, push it down, it pops, and it puts a little hole in there, or not a hole, just a little dent hole, so your drill bit doesn't ride around. Very nice little tool to have. So, all right guys, so I'm gonna stop this video, get it uploading, and I'll kind of get back on it once I get the pipe drilled and working on getting the motor done. Because I got to put the tail, that's what sucks, I got to put the tail on and get the pipe hard mounted. That way I know exactly where to put the motor. But because you have access to the motor without the wing on it, it'll be easy to do. I just got to get the jet assembled a little bit. So you guys take it easy. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave comments. I've been getting a lot of comments, which is great. The channel's kind of doing its purpose. I'm not intentionally trying to make people not buy jets, but it's nice that they can come to my channel and see what you could possibly end up with. That way you're not completely surprised, and if you still want to get one after you see all the problems that you could possibly have, then great. And I do that. There's certain models that I have no expectations on, that I know is going to be horrible, but because I want the jet, I deal with it. So you guys have a good one, and I'm gonna get back to it. Get some coffee here. Finish up my coffee cam. Cheers.